Hello everyone. Today, Vong, Sonyn, Kimheng and I will be presenting to you our English project. I hope you find the video enjoyable and informative. All throughout history, there has been records stating the movement of people from one place to another. Moving from an area into a new one provided our ancient ancestors with many different benefits such as abundant food and fertile land. Whereas today, migration happens because of conflict, war, or political issues which causes civil unrest and economic instability. In this video, we will look at what migration is, the different types of migration, immigrations and its effects, and asylum seeking. We will end it off with a comparison between migration and immigration.
Migration is the movement of people, especially workers, where they move between countries to settle down. It's often regularly over a political or regulatory boundary. Net migration alludes to the distinction between the numbers of individuals entering and leaving the country. There are four types of migration, which are immigration, invasion, conquest, and colonization. Notice that migration contains immigration. As for the other three types, they seem slightly similar in meaning. However, differences can be highlighted when comparing these types. Firstly, invasion. Invasion is an unwelcome intrusion into another domain. For example, the invasion of Solomon Island by the United States, Australia, and Japan. On the other hand, conquest is the action of taking over and control or conquering a country or a specific location of land. For example, Alexander the Great have conquered Syria, Giza, Egypt, and many more. Thirdly, colonization is an action where countries or organizations send people to live in and govern another country or land. The purpose of colonization is to serve as a source of a reasonable labor and natural resources.
Lastly, immigration. So, what is immigration? This term was coined in the 17th century, which means the international movement of people to a non-native country to settle down or reside there as a permanent resident, naturalized citizens, or to take up employment as migrant workers. Example, a Cambodian woman immigrates to Australia, starts working as a cook at McDonald's, and becomes the main executive after 10 years. In 2015, the number of international migrants reaches 244 million worldwide, with the largest number of migrants residing in the US, followed by Germany and Russia. You see, immigration has both advantages and disadvantages. Let's look at some of its benefits. First, economic gain. As critics had claimed, immigrants usually accept low-wages jobs. By help filling up this job, the load of producers and consumers had lightened. Therefore, it results in a gain in economic welfare. Second, cultural diversity. People from a different country with different cultures come together mean there will be an increase in ethnic restaurants and easier access to international products, much to people's liking. Third, skilled worker. Immigrants normally arrive in a country because of the employment preference. This means they offer skills that are very scarce to a country. Example, if the supply of native social workers is low, the influx of more social worker immigrants can help. As much as there are advantages, they also got their disadvantages. Let's have a look. First, overpopulation. Immigrants usually migrate to a wealthier nation. This causes both overpopulation and underpopulation issue. Hence, the population level becomes imbalanced. Second, it encourages disease transmission. Some diseases that are uncommon in some places is transferred to a new region as the number of migrants increase. This will have a negative impact on the local population that is not exposed to it. Third, it reduces the chances of developing nations. More and more skilled workers from a developing country immigrate to a developed country, so their own native country loses an opportunity to advance.
With today's world conflicts, it creates many asylum seeking around the world. So what exactly is that? Asylum seeking is an act of asking for political protection from another country because they cannot return to their own country. An asylum seeker may want protection because they might be facing persecution in their home country due to race, religion, war, famine, or other political problems.
An asylum seeker may sound similar to a refugee, which you might have heard of in the news before, but they are different.
A refugee has the permission to enter the country, but an asylum seeker does not have that permission yet. However, an asylum seeker can seek permission through a formal application for the right to immigrate to that country. And if the immigrant authorities agree that the asylum seeker's circumstances fall into the definition of a refugee, the permission will be granted and the asylum seeker can immigrate into that country. There are refugees and asylum seekers all around the world, but the countries that has the most living are Syria, Afghanistan, and South Sudan, with a total combined of more than 10 million people, which is mainly due to war. On the other hand, countries such as Canada, Australia, Sweden, and Norway takes in the most refugees, with up to 450 to 500 refugees per million residents of their country.
People often get confused between migration and immigration. But as noted earlier, immigration is a type of migration. Migration is also used to describe a movement from one region to another, not one country to another. This means migration can happen within a border of a country, but immigration can only happen between two countries. We hope you found this video informative and interesting. Thank you very much for your attention.